I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
June 6th, D-Day.
6. Good morning, everyone. Commissioner Adler is absent this day, and I will be temporary chairman for the day. So the first item on the agenda, and Chuck is present, by the way, board minutes for May 30th, 2023.
I move to accept the board minutes.
And I will second it. Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
We have a comment from Elena.
Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you. I have a question. When were the minutes made available to the public to view?
What minutes are you talking about?
The ones you just approved?
Well, being as we just approved them. Billy, can you tell me when they will be updated to the public?
Usually as soon as your meeting is over, I post them to the website and I send a copy to Sarah.
Okay, so did you hear what Billy had said?
Yes, but where in the code does it say that you can wait until after they're approved?
So I guess, again, repeating that we repeat to you time and time again, according to our county attorney, we are doing things properly. And minutes will be published when they are approved by the commission. The minutes for May 30th were just approved by the commission, so they will be updated at the end of this meeting.
And can I request that for the record, this is included in the minutes that you will be checking, I hope, with the county attorney and getting the answer for what code, but what code you are relying on to not allow the public to see the draft of the minutes before they're approved. So if you can put that in the minutes that I'm requesting an answer that you're going to check with the county attorney for that code. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will go on to the next agenda item, which is correspondence. Okay, the first correspondence is from David Abrahams, and he is with the U.S. Department Bureau of Land Management. And this is just an information flyer on things that are going to be going on in the next few months. Or informational flyer, please call it. Billy, is this updated after the fact, the correspondence, so that the public?
Yep.
Things that was just received today, that's why it isn't.
Yeah, the BLM one.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the only new one. All the other ones should be up there.
Do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, we were talking about it earlier, but the BLM is advertising to go to Garnet on the county road. And I mean, why are they doing that when they know it's in that bad a shape? and it's a non-maintained road. I think we should request they just use the north end, and it's paved road all the way up there on the north end. I mean, so they're advertising, so then it tears up the road, and then we get all kinds of complaints. I don't think it's right that they're doing that. Or they can help us fix it up, maintain it.
Billy, do we have the BLM? What were you saying earlier about the BLM being on the agenda? Or are they gonna?
So I reached out to their public information officer from the BLM about the advertised route. And I'm just waiting to hear back to see if they could potentially come in, because you guys talked about this a little bit last week too. To see if they could come in and discuss that route and the advertisement of that route, since it was kind of discussed last week. And
Is this anything that we need to make sure that we address this to them when?
yeah, I can send a follow-up email with the advertisement, absolutely. And like I said, hopefully we can set something up in the coming weeks for the BLM coming in.
So this is just an advertisement of going to Garnett. And the road is impassable.
Yeah, to reach Garnett from Highway 200, you can take the north route, or visitors using I-90 should take the Bear Mouth or Drummond exit, then take the frontage road to Bear Gulch. Garnett is 10 miles north on Bear Gulch Road. This road is steep and narrow and rough. Is not recommended for trailers. Well, they maybe should put it's not recommended for anybody. Okay. Now, I went there, several years ago that route, and yeah, it was bad. So I mean, if they want to do that, why can't we request that they chip in for some money to
Right.
go fix it out?
Okay, so then that we will address that with. And speak with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Next thing on the agenda is an email from John Rogers. And it says it's specifically for Scott Adler, and he states that he has lived at his present address on Lower Lock Creek for over 20 years, and the condition of the road is the worst it's ever been. We are now fast approaching the height of float season, which means dramatic increases in traffic and more wear and tear on the road surface. Let's not delay repairs to the road any longer. And this was also emailed to our superintendent of roads. So
Yeah, I think we should just talk about it.
we were trying to address it as fast as we can due to what rain and.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the roads are in bad shape.
Okay, the next item is Granite County Justice Court, and it's the end of the period disbursement. And disbursements on 5/31/2023, which is the end of May, was 8,206. So the next item is from the United States Department of Agriculture and the Deep Ranger District of Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest has prepared a draft environmental assessment, and this is just stating this project is to address hazards threatening health and safety in the Basin Creek municipal watershed, and proposed activities would treat approximately 2350 acres of vegetation. And there is a how to comment website, and this is just an informational letter.
But you're about $1
The next item is from the Montana Department of Transportation, and it is a construction update. And it just tells us that work continues as crews move dirt in preparation for the abandoned railway track bridge removal. The next item is from Mako. And it is the projected county Barca allocations. And the distribution amount for Granite County is for this fiscal. Granite, 1,115,411.23. Annual Barca allocations that goes into. My brain just lost it. What fund does it go into? It goes into.
Not certain.
Ding, ding, ding. Anyway, it's used by the road. Oil and gravel.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Tired.
Oh. Mr. Adler not here?
No, not today.
Under the weather. Yeah. You looking at small print?
Yeah,
Yeah, really small.
the Barca
Oh.
application.
Magnifying glass?
Yeah, it's easier to see. on
So I
the-
think what that shows you is in the yellow, it's the total amount, and then it shows the distribution.
Well, over here it has total projected allocation. And that's 252,000.
Mhm.
Goes out.
I'd rather get that.
Make more
Okay, so this, the Barca one-time projected Barca allocation, and then HB 76 projected annual distribution, which is gonna monthly, is another 136,672 for a total of 252. So HB 76, that ring a bell?
That, yeah, talk about that, yeah. That's a night,
So not only Barca, but
House
whatever,
bills have any sense?
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And what that say?
House Bill 76.
So we get 252. So we get 252.
Apparently. From Barca, and we'll have to. Is that something that we should
Total projected.
look into a little further?
Or-
Yeah, have to do a resolution on where you're gonna
Okay.
spend it, but yeah, that's good.
See, the Barca
shot.
goes into, because it always goes into the same fund,
Yeah,
but the HB 76.
We're gonna look up HB 76. See that.
I'm on it.
You on that, or you want me to try to find it?
I'm looking it up.
I know, you're just figuring out how you're gonna spend it.
I already know. The material.
And we'll do more research on that Barca, the Barca funds in HB 76, so. We'll move on to public comment. I guess I should say, is there any public comment on the correspondence?
I'm gonna print it.
Due diligence. Okay, so we'll move on to public comment on matters within the commissioner's jurisdiction.
I had something I was gonna bring up. and then,
So earlier, before you came in, Blaine, we had a request from Elena on board minutes, saying she needs, it's gonna be in the minutes that she needs verification that we are doing it correctly on approving the minutes and then putting it out to the public. And she wants verification of exactly where it says that the public, we don't need to submit it to the public, the draft minutes to the public for review.
We've been over this, I mean, how many times, there's no statute that says draft minutes or public minutes. So, I mean, that's been my legal opinion. If you want me to do another formal legal opinion, I can.
So you've given us an opinion repeatedly on how you feel that we are doing things correctly when we do not submit the minutes to the public until they're approved by the commission.
Yes.
They stand by that.
Yeah. We asked for a letter of advice from the Montana Attorney General's office and they didn't give it up. I don't know why, but
She has a comment.
Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you. Okay, I was away from the meeting for a little bit and I bet I heard you. I guess the commission, the county attorney is there and I heard you, Blanche, asking the question. And Blaine, I'm not clear, are you going, what I requested is that you give the code. And you said there isn't any code. And then you mentioned advice. I'm not clear on that. I know there was, you did ask for advice a few years ago when the codes were changing. And the wrong code was mentioned, but are you going to be asking for another letter of advice, or are you just going to say that there is no code that says that the request for draft of minutes or minutes is not public information until approved? There is no code?
there's no plan for doing another request for the Attorney General's office unless the commission wanted me to do that.
So you're just going to say there is no code? If I can get that on the minutes. Thank
Well,
you.
There's a code on meeting minutes, that code does not talk about being, the draft minutes being public.
Oh, okay, so if you can just for the minutes, in the minutes, for the record, that there is no code, and then cite the code that you claim is the one that talks about public information. Thank you.
In the code, it states that
Defines minutes.
defines
Yeah.
minutes And they will be available to the public for review, but it does not say the draft minutes will be available to the public for review. It says the minutes, I'm pretty sure, and we
Yeah.
decided as the commission to not publish the minutes until they're approved by the commission.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
we-
what?
Yeah,
what-
they-
Do this.
Yeah, they can always, they could be amended if there were errors in them later on.
Right.
Okay, thank you. So I guess we will move on to the weekly report with road and bridge superintendent. I'll,
Well, here's HB 76,
okay,
and I've been reading it, but I think it takes a lawyer to understand it.
well,
Yeah, I've got it.
So, but yeah, there is a adjustment.
so if it's allocated, but it's allocated for the road,
Right.
Yeah.
Part of the
Big,
gas
big,
tax
okay.
thing.
part of the gas tanks. There it is, that's what I was looking for, is gas tanks. Okay, so morning, Paul.
Good morning. So we're just trying to get some blading done. It's a slow process, due to the weather, but we're gaining slowly.
On the lower Rock Creek, is that, you get down there, I saw an email from that one guy.
That was. There was a couple things down there, I'm not sure where this guy is, but. Lower Rock Creek is paved. And we've been down there for the last couple of days, full patching. And after today, we'll have 16,000 pounds of full patch. Put in potholes. But a lot of the places down there. There's Missoula County as well, and they don't know where they live. And I had a guy. Well, like last Sunday, it was 100% Granite County where that road was washed out. Well, I knew it wasn't, but I went down anyway, and it was Missoula County. And we have signs that say leaving and entering, you know. And then the blading deal at Lower Rock Creek. I talked to him yesterday, and it's above where we work. That's Forest Service's responsibility out of Missoula. So I talked with him and got that. There's just a lot of rough roads, and somebody's got to find a phone number to call, and that's just the way it is. But we're rolling along with everything that we can. I mean, like yesterday, we had Johnny was up at Georgetown Lake, and it's just too damn muddy. Just can't do anything, so we cut across to Eastport and what we're doing. Gonna start home milling next Monday is the plan. Because they've moved, we were hoping to do it a few weeks later, but they moved their project up on Highway 1. And we have to be ready, or we won't get it chip sealed. Because it'll be pulled out and it'll just cost us a bunch more money.
I was wondering,
So we're gonna start on Monday with that project. And
does it have to be warm or?
it's, I mean, at least we're in there, they won't chip it unless it's a certain, they won't chip it unless it's a certain degree. You know, but. They're hoping to be. Right before the 4th of July to chip seal, so.
Huh?
Yeah, they said we gotta get it rolling. They moved him ahead, he said it might be the middle of July, but. If we don't get going, we'll never get it done. You know, I'm just.
What does it matter if it's wet or?
For their chip sealing, you mean?
No, for the land and milling.
No, we put millions of gallons of water on it anyway. So. Yeah,
So we got a roller.
when I leave here, I'm going to get one.
Gonna rip out the categories in.
Yeah. I think leave the one by the highway till we're done.
Hmm.
And
Okay, yeah. Good idea.
save all that, but. And then. But the other one will get took out. And. That's just kind of where we're at. With it.
So on that, Lower Willow, that guy wrote that big thing, letter, where's our closest gravel source? How good gravel?
We're,
Weaver? You think we need that on there? Or?
Well, at some point, I mean, we're gonna have to put something on there. But. You know, there's that stretch of road that could use it, you know, a few miles out past. I mean, it's just the way it is, it's tumble. I mean, it needs to be. Should be cut out and lace the fabric down, put some. Road
How long?
base in,
How long stretch?
gotta do it, be a few miles,
Few miles.
yeah,
That's gonna take some work.
yeah.
Use your parcel funds. The statute, House Bill 76 talks about for the construction, reconstruction, maintenance and repair of rural roads. City or town, streets or alleys and bridges, so. It's broad discretion on that.
So that would be something that we would still put into our gas tax fund. Because it's associated with the Barca. Or is that part of the gas tax fund
Yeah. Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
so,
we get anyway, right? Because we get the Barca and then we get,
yeah,
I think it's motor force.
yeah,
okay, so that's.
I'm interpreting it,
I get it.
it's all.
I
yeah.
get it. So it's,
It's the statute allocates on the percentages of everything that goes out and that this is allocated and that. The additional is allocated here.
so what happened with that veto, if this is kind of concerning roads where, county roads where the governor vetoed. The 2% that they wanted to allocate from marijuana sales to county roads. Anything current on that?
I don't know for sure, but I just talked to a representative yesterday. And it wasn't on their list,
Yeah,
so I don't know. I don't know what.
Other, oh, yeah,
There's a list.
yeah,
I really don't know what I'm talking about here. But the way I understand, there's a list. That through the summer. That they can. If there's something vetoed, they can override it.
yeah,
I know there was emails. from people-
Two-thirds.
They can try to override,
Oh,
but
So also on the agenda, it says. The correspondence from David. How you trying to say? it?
That's what we're just talking about.
Oh, not that one, right? Okay, this is the one where. You don't know exactly where he lives and whether or not he
Oh,
is.
That's
in-
from Rocker.
Yeah.
Oh, that, I thought that David Pikes or whatever, that he lives in Lower Willow Creek.
Oh, Lower Willow Creek.
it was
Okay, that's what
Mr.
it's
Rogers
Yeah.
was talking about Rock.
Okay. Sorry,
well, I don't think the problem is with funding right now, it's. You guys got a lot to do.
Right.
I don't think they're gonna get to that project right away.
And it's, yeah. Every spring it's that way, and it goes away, we mag it. Stop the dust, put some gravel on it. We have a lot of big problems, we have a lot of bigger projects where there's a lot of people live. And. You can only do so much,
It's,
we only have so many men.
you know. I mean, we gotta hit granite one of these days and.
And we're on it, we're a month behind from where we were last year
Man,
because of the weather,
because it's wet.
yeah.
It's wonderfully wet.
That's kind of where we're at.
So in this situation. With Lower Willow Creek, if. It gets wet, it gets muddy, and if you can't really do anything till it dries out, right?
Right. It's,
It's gumbo, which is it, you know what gumbo is?
Hmm?
You know what gumbo is?
It's
It's that clay that sticks to everything and you.
It's a Louisiana Dutch. Okay.
it's about the same exact.
Yeah.
So it's like gumbo. And probably will be,
Yeah,
so
I
there isn't
mean,
anything,
now we're. You know, the frost, it's always worse happening when the frost starting to come out of the ground and just gets worse, but.
then if you just dump gravel on it. What I've seen, the eventually just go down into the,
Right.
you know,
You gotta put some on there at least and then mag it and get it to hold.
yeah.
It's just, it's a Band-Aid. I mean, and I know it's a Band-Aid, but
But like I said, you gotta tear it all out and put some bigger rock in there, base course, and then cover it over.
yeah,
And that's a big project.
it's not cheap.
And next with, our weekly report, the Staley Engineering, the bridge update correspondence.
So I visited with her, and their recommendation was to do something with the bridge out there, but. We just redacted it like 3 years ago. And they didn't know that. So between your letter and
Okay,
my email, I
Okay.
emailed her.
so this, remember when we heard from them and they let us know that they had been hired to go and look, so they didn't actually go and look at it then?
No,
Okay, and now they know.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay.
I think they're just going off their last inspection records. From years ago, you know.
So I read someplace where you talked to Nick Walden about. Wash places in the dumps.
Yeah, hoping to get him to put a plan together, but everybody's pretty busy. I'm meeting with the driller today out there. And we're gonna look at the location and then figure out where we're gonna put the well, and then he'll give us a price per foot. And a time schedule, and that time schedule is probably gonna be
So who's this with?
Jerome Drilling.
Oh,
The time schedule will be with Penny Lock in the month of September. So,
can't drill a well till September.
they're a year and a half back out.
Because now we're on discussion of that's what we talked about, the well water. You found someone to drill the well,
Yeah, I believe so, yeah,
okay,
and don't have a price yet,
okay,
but
is that something that would need to,
So I would wait until you get a price and then you can approve it, or you can approve Sours subject to the approving the price later on.
I mean, the price is gonna be X amount of dollars a foot.
Yeah.
And who knows how far you're drilling,
yeah, like in a situation like this, when they're the only ones that we could find that.
Yeah, I think once you have that, the per foot amount, then you could approve that.
So we can't build anything till we get the well. What are we gonna?
no, we need, if the builders can get there first, that's what we need to do. You know, have it done and hook water up. Doug Benson's gonna come and take a look at putting the septic systems in. And we'll get a pretty tight price from him. And I'm gonna call Chad when I leave here and let him know that I got the well guy coming. So maybe if he's around, he can meet us out there. Kind of where we're at with that.
So wait for the pricing and you get back on the agenda.
So right now with the solid waste, it's a work in progress and we're moving along,
So,
yeah, so that's about all we can do right now is where we're at.
And when I get some numbers. Then I'll let you know, then we put it back on and.
Yeah.
So we can have it approved or whatever.
oh, good.
Other than that, we had a scale problem, last week. Talked about that, where the scale's reading off a little bit there. And so we took all the plating off and used a water truck to clean everything all out. It turns out, anyway, the Rocky Mountain game on, it's got a bad load cell. So they're coming out hopefully this week to fix it. But
That's drumming.
Beaver,
Already.
one thing after another.
Yeah.
I mean, it's reading in the public's favor. So I mean, that's,
So they're eyeballing it right now.
well, it's just reading light, and if it was reading it the other way, we'd have to just let them dump for free. So. It is what it is.
Any complaints on speeding at the lake?
I haven't heard none. All them signs that are 15 miles an hour, I don't know why we don't take those down and put it back to 25 like it's supposed to be anyway. Where then people have to put their own speed limit signs up. I mean, that's
That'd be-
the law.
That'd be good. The commission, there's no record that the commission ever approved 15, so. Yeah, it should, that would be my advice.
Now where they've got that trailer, they've got that set at 15 miles an hour, with the speed limit sign on the trailer at 15 and one across the street at 50.
That would be the sheriff.
Yeah, I
The
don't know.
sheriff brought that up there.
So the sheriff on that sign put 15 miles.
He brought the trailer up. Is there, what else is up there?
There's a sign on it. The trailer set at 15 miles an hour.
Okay,
There's a sign on the trailer that says 15 miles an hour. And then across the road, there's another speed limit sign, 15 miles an hour.
that's into the ground.
That's nailed on a tree or something. And I doubt the sheriff did
Yeah.
that.
No, the sheriff
Yeah,
didn't do
no,
that.
he didn't, because he emailed me to see if there was any record of it being 15, and I said, no, I don't, and he
Supposed to be 25.
copied me on
Lot
that when he
of
saw the
35.
deputy saying 25.
My advice would be, to take the other one down that says 15 and put 25 up and we can talk to the sheriff about it. But trailer
Well,
sign,
again, I mean, we just can't let them dictate on what the speed limit is.
Yeah, we're putting a lot of time and effort into the Forest Service road.
Yeah. A
I think
a
we
bit too
don't
much
even have authority to do it.
in the whole thing.
But anyway, did you get signs ordered for the speed bumps?
They're not down.
You've got the signs. You've got speed bumps.
Yeah,
We just haven't put them up. Get on it.
just.
Wait for the
It
sign.
happened this week. We're trying to get some other stuff done while it ain't raining.
Hey. Is there any public comment?
Elena,
Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you. For the record, Elena Gagliano. I have a question regarding the well that you guys are putting in at the Phillipsburg site. Has there been an EPA assessment done?
Or what?
An EPA assessment done?
September, estimated time of arrival.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
They're coming in September.
The EPA to do an assessment?
You said EPA or ETA?
The Environmental Protection Agency does an assessment when you're doing something like this, drilling a well at a dump site?
We have Chad Lannis on board that's taking care of that stuff.
Okay, so it's not going to proceed, anything is going to be done until the report comes in. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, we've been working on this for several months. And he is the guy that takes care of that stuff.
So there is a request in.
It's
There is a-
approved. I don't know what,
If my understanding is correct. This is. Public or city property or county property and
Yeah, so the county has a lease on the,
yeah,
um,
so. The. ETA, how would they have anything to do with it when Chad Lannis is our
I'm not aware that there has to be an EPA, so.
EPA?
Yeah, it's just
Okay,
an
EPA.
EPA. Assessment done, but we'll make sure that we're going through the. What
Yeah,
proper procedures we need to go through to get that.
Besides, they wouldn't know anything until we drilled the well. How would they know it's?
It wouldn't be, it's impossible.
So Billy, this is I guess a good question, can we follow through on whether or not we have to have an EPA assessment for drilling a well at the Phillipsburg dump site?
Yeah. I'll look into it.
I wouldn't even address it. I mean,
But I'm-
we got Chad doing that stuff like.
So, yeah, well,
Yeah. I mean,
And if I'm sorry, if I may add one other thing, it's because I understand that there are junk vehicles also being stored there. And so that's one of the things.
The whole different.
what's that got to do?
well, it just depends, I guess, where the junk vehicle, they're further away from where the well site is going to be. I think there's probably enough feet in between.
I think
Where we're not
right,
gonna get any,
let Chad take care of it.
Yeah,
yeah,
the junk vehicle don't have any bearing on this at all.
so.
And again, for the record, I'd like this entered into the minutes, please. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Linda's here for the chain of title item on the agenda for solid waste site.
Yo, Linda, you wanna step forward?
Like we're turn to the left.
That's what it sounded like.
Right?
So what this is Linda's here for the chain of title matters regarding the Drummond site.
So, well, and I think you guys got your report from Hans, right, that said, have they heard the report from Hans?
Well, he went down there and did the corner recordation, but his thinking was if advice was if we're potentially missing a deed somewhere, that potentially having a title search done.
So, yeah, Hans kind of said that he felt there was some discrepancy in the record. And, you know, that there was some question as to whether Drummond had turned over all the property. And he said, you know, maybe a title report would help with that to track it. I think we pulled all the deeds we can. Blaine was talking about a quiet title potentially that we might have to do. But regardless of whether we went through that or not, we're gonna, I mean, the town of Drummond's gonna be able to come in, even if we just went to court and tried to quiet title it. And say, hey, we feel like we have rights into this. So at this point, it's like, I think we're down to, we just really need to figure out, maybe try to get the town of Drummond to sign
So-
over whatever they have, if they're willing to give over.
On chain of title. And you can go to the property ownership books, right in the vault in the clerk and recorder's office. You followed that chain.
Mhm.
Was there a break in that chain?
There's not a break in the chain. What there is a potentially poor description. There's potentially an error in one of the descriptions where they're saying the property is located to the east of the section line instead of the west of the section line, but that creates an error in the record. You know, and that's what I think Hans is saying is, well, there is some discrepancy that says that piece that got added by, is it Thompson? To the county was originally the town's, because that's the piece that's east of the section line. So he's saying there's enough discrepancy, he thinks there, and I mean, he's kind of your expert there, that's who you would call into court, is it your surveyor? And he's saying there's enough discrepancy there that he thinks potentially there may be, the town may have a claim.
Is that on the deed that's coming from the town of Phillipsburg? to-
No, that piece, see, that's the thing. They got a piece that says they had a piece east of the section line and they turned over the stuff west of the section line. So that's really the question is, did they have a piece east of the section line? And Hans is saying it's just not clear enough in the record to 100% rule out that there wasn't a piece east of the section line.
What's your opinion? what do we need to do? Just let it go or what?
My understanding is that what Hans is saying is that the survey is off a little bit from the legal description, correct?
Yeah,
But we're not talking a substantial amount there in your opinion.
he kind of made it sound like it was a really big piece, like at least. Big enough that it would matter, I guess. At least that's kind of how I read it. And I don't know, I mean, it might be you just need to have hands come in and with a map and say, this is what I'm talking about, but yeah, I mean, he went down as your kind of your expert to survey it out, and he's saying that the survey he did shows there is a discrepancy in what the town turned over and potentially what they have left.
Generally, it's a quiet title to correct that issue, but if it's a minor issue, it's not worth fighting over. So maybe we should have them come in and see how much of a discrepancy it is.
Well, one thing about it is. Where the line is, Drummond would own where the dead animal pit was and the burn pile and stuff. But I believe that line also incorporates the well. Just barely, and it goes kind of through the corner of the building that we park the tractor in. So. I mean, if that line is off a little bit, it makes quite a bit of difference.
Then that would be a
Well,
quiet
can
title.
we get them to turn it over to us and just, it benefits them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the discussion, that I kind of think that's the point you're at, you need to have the town come in and say, are you willing to just turn this over? To the county and, you know, quiet title out everything you have, or quick
Oh,
claim
yeah,
out everything you
quick
have,
claim.
and let's call it a day and we'll own it, and.
In
But
this,
that's a discussion you need to have with the town.
in this situation where both parties own it and there's a discrepancy boundary
Mhm.
line, is
There's
that?
a
Yeah.
discrepancy, right? And I have seen these before where, you know, you'll have two surveyors come in and they'll show a disputed piece right down the center. Of the two properties, and you know, ultimately, either the two parties settle it or you let it go. And you just live with it, knowing there's a little discrepancy, or the courts have to decide. And it's like, there's no use in taking this to the
Right,
court, it's
right.
just not that
No.
significant of an issue. But,
So you're saying that it might affect where the well is a little bit, where it could be sitting?
Well, I think where that line is, the well would be on Drummond's side. And a corner of the building they built is also, the line kind of goes through the building.
Oh.
Like the building this way and the line goes through this way.
So the main reason we're doing this is for the well, right? So that and where's the septic? We need to put a septic in
The
there.
septic
Yeah.
and the septic, the bathrooms, the scales, the dumpsters, all that's on Granite County.
Okay,
so the well's an issue.
yeah, I mean, it's just something that you need to clean up at this point with the record, and it's just gonna take. Talking with Drummond and finding out, you know, what they're after to transfer that property over.
And do they even care? I don't even.
Yeah, or if they even care.
well, I think they do care, they kind of seem to,
Well, and I don't know, I mean, that's, I guess, a discussion you're gonna have to have the mayor come in and say, do you. You know, is the town wanting to keep this? If not, can we work something out to take this from you? And you know, like, I have looked through the commission records. And every place in there where all of this was happening, it just said, they gave a report of the solid waste committee. And you know, decided to adopt with their findings. But all of the solid waste minutes we can't find. So it's like, without those minutes, we just are working in the dark as to why they chose, why they were messing around with it, transferring back, nobody knows. And the thing is that, you know, I've heard people say, well, maybe the mayor has records, but they're not the official minutes. I mean, we would have to go by the official minutes that are on record here and we can't find ours.
Our official minutes are vague.
And our official, oh, well, yeah, our official minutes in the commission record are very vague and our official solid waste minutes are nowhere to be found. So that's the problem on our end, is that we have no record to tell us why it happened or what was going on or
Okay.
what got transferred, what was intended to be transferred. It's just all very up in the
So
air.
I can invite the mayor up, or
Okay, so we're getting into our next agenda item. Right now. What would you suggest that we,
Talk
Put it
to-
on
talk to-
hold or-
Just talk to Drummond and get him in here and see if he'll turn it over to us and.
right now, it doesn't have any effect on getting ready to start getting a bathroom in there because it'd be all on the Granite County side.
And that's zero back and. I mean, did somebody say that we could use the water anyway, or,
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know if the issue is with the well, you know.
there's no issues, there's no current written lease with Drummond, but there's not, I mean, no one said you can't use that well.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's a verbal, I guess, agreement with,
Yeah, it doesn't sound like there's an effective issue to moving forward with projects or daily business. It's just. It's a clarity issue for your records. That needs to be fixed. It should be fixed. But I don't think it's detrimental to the
so
project.
is that something that maybe, can we, do we have to put this on the agenda right away, or can we wait and just see, or do we want to get a hold of Drummond if they want to get on the agenda, or we'll wait till,
I'd say my advice would be get them on the agenda, if you can.
the next couple weeks?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you, sir.
All right, see you later.
Thank you, Linda.
Mhm.
You guys have a good day.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Linda.
So the next-
10:30.
The next agenda item is the dam tenders report, Georgetown Lake outflow. And looks like. Where'd it go? The lake is full.
And Brad Lehrman and Stephen Bagley from Fish, Wildlife and Parks are both on Zoom. And they're both able to mute and unmute.
Who's on?
Brad Lehrman and Stephen Bagley.
So,
So where's Scott?
yeah, we're Scott.
So. The only thing I'm worried about is getting a bunch of rain. And then we could be in trouble, and. But I just don't know about if we increase it much more, whether we get damage down below. Something washing out. I think it's going okay now, and we're at supposedly a 90 CFS.
Keep it at 90.
Let's see, I'm not sure if it's quite at 90.
I don't think it's quite up
I've
at
been
90. I think they've been working on
86.5.
trying to get it up to 90, but I know.
Well, I'd like to at least get it to 90.
Try to get it to 90.
One suggestion I have is, well, I mean, I think you wanna, it's at actually. 6429.55. But
Also, it went down. It was 5.6.
Oh, did it go up or down or?
that was
the first thing this
9:15
morning.
AM, it was 0.55.
Okay, so it's barely
Yeah.
down a little bit, still over.
One thing you could do is a motion to release inflows until the lake drops below full pool, and then move it to 30 CFF.
So what's the inflows?
But I think we're pretty close to inflows now.
Yeah, but then if it starts raining, you could up it a little bit more. You could say capped at 100. So release. Release inflows as they look at day to day, capped at 100 CFS until it gets to. Starts going below full pool, then it's 30 CFS. That might be a while because there's supposed to be more.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain, that just was scared me, I mean, they predict, like quarter inch and then. Like I say, I measure it, and then you go out there and look and there's 2 inches. That's what scares me. I mean, if it wasn't for that, I'd say we're looking pretty good. I'd make a motion to go to 95, as close to 95 as we can get.
So if we went, the motion would be the inflows. To cap at 100, would that be better than at 95 or?
We could go 100, I just. Worry about what's down below. When of course, it's really not that much difference between 100.
I guess the reason why I was saying inflows is because anything above inflows is a temporary modification. But if inflows probably are pretty close to 90 or whatever, not in that range.
Yeah, 'cause that would be the end.
Yeah,
Yeah, because if it's starting to go down.
if you get more rain, they could up it. So yeah, that's what I encourage you to do. Your motion is release inflows up to 100 CFS.
Don't make that one.
Make that motion. I'll second it. Any public comment?
This is Brad Lehrman. I was just wondering how are you guys gonna measure inflows? How are you gonna know inflows? You're just gonna try to keep reservoir elevation right at 5.6, and that's how you're gonna know inflows? Is that what you're thinking?
Well, the graph shows it kind of leveling off and went down very, very, very little bit in the last few hours. And
0.55 now.
and so I'm assuming that's, since it hasn't rained that much in like a couple days, that's probably the inflows. Right around there.
Right.
So. Yeah, so what we're just worried about, I'm worried about is, we're getting 2 inches of rain. And then we wouldn't know what the inflows are, but I just want to try to get it down a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just was wondering what you're thinking for measurement, but yeah, obviously if you see the graph leveled off and it's not increasing, then yeah, you're matching inflows. So. Yep, that sounds good.
Thank you, Brad.
Yep, thank you.
Anyone else on?
Stephen Bagley.
Oh,
Doesn't want to make comment. Any other comments?
So. Under this scenario. We're not gonna increase it then.
But if it's inflows, you get rain, then inflows will increase. And so
But how's he gonna know?
you just have to
If it
be,
starts raining, how's he gonna?
it's just being, looking at he's gotta be looking at the graph pretty constant and
So is he's got
adjust it.
that graph and he watches it.
Yeah, he's been going up there probably every other day, if not every day. And then I've been pulling it daily. And I know Paul Town, it's been a
Yeah.
group effort of tracking it every day and communicating.
I
every
guess I'd
day.
rather see him go up there and try to get it close to 95, and then if we needed more, we can go to 100.
And at this time frame that he knows that he needs to
Mhm.
be way on top of it.
Yeah.
So, and he realizes.
Oh,
that.
yeah, he's been
Okay.
excellent. Yeah.
And he realizes that, yes, he can go up there and make sure
So
that.
Yep.
not just looking at day by day, but
Yeah.
multiple times.
But it's
Yeah.
gotta be our decision, I mean, we're putting too much on him. If it starts raining, to worry about whether he should be going up there, he's gotta come from us. I think.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I think, and Commissioner Adler's not here, but I think he was on the phone pretty much daily with Commissioner Adler last week.
Yeah,
Towards the end of the
so,
week.
yeah, it wasn't just him, it was Commissioner Adler
Yeah.
was talking to him regular.
So that's I wanna throw that in the motion, I wanna to edge up a little bit more, try to get to 95, and then cap it at 100. You know what I'm saying?
Which,
I'd like to let out more right now. And try to get that overflow.
so what's
Not
coming out right
going
now?
slow way.
Let's see, yeah, look.
Can you tell? What's-
Yeah, I mean, the USGS Southern Cross
That can tell what's,
with
Measures the
what
Yeah.
outflow.
we're releasing?
below the power plant. See. $8:45 AM this morning is 87.8,
So we're pretty close to 90.
but that's. Yeah, I've been pretty level with that.
Where's that site at? I'd like to see that.
Just do a search USGS Southern Cross on the Google search. Pops up. You gotta change it to cubic feet per second because it's the default is here's the default.
Visas, okay.
You have a public comment from Elena.
Elena? Go ahead.
Thank you again for the record. So two questions. The last report online from the dam tender is June 3rd. And is the dam tender there or participating in this?
Yes, we just talked about that, that him and Adler have been, Commissioner Adler have been talking all the time, and he's been going up there. At various times last week and adjusting things, they're adjusting the CFS.
He's not on though. It's in-
No, and I think that's the day he went up and filled out that whole report, Elena, but he's been up there every day. I talked to him yesterday afternoon when he was up there. That's just the day he went through that specific checklist that we do kind of every week for our observations up there, but he's been up there quite frequently up at the dam, eyes on the dam. He opened it up a little bit more yesterday to try to get closer to that 90 CFS. So
So
no,
I
he's
was
not-
just wondering, why doesn't he do a report every day since he's been up there? I mean, discussing it with one of the commissioners, the other two commissioners aren't familiar what's going on. It's apparent from this conversation. So I'm just saying that maybe if he's there checking things, or at least be here so you can tell him directly up, down, increase, decrease. Thank you.
So to answer that question, Elena, he is in continual conversation with Mr. Adler, and Scott makes sure that we know about it. Scott has contacted me whenever he feels, and I know he's contacted Chuck. So it isn't that he does not get in touch with us. It's a daily thing, and watching on the website, we watch it continually. I watch it 2-3 times a day. So we are in continual conversation with the dam tender, and it's not necessary for the dam tender to walk into this office and give his report when he has given us his report. And then we are in continual conversation with him on the phone.
Well, just on the motion, just so we're clear, I'd rather see it bumped up a little bit more. And between 90 and 95, just to get a little bit,
Okay, so inflows are 87. You'd rather, can we?
Yeah, you can do your motion for 90, or you can do your motion for a
and then
specific
cap it
number.
at 100. If we could fit all those together.
If inflows increase above 90, then you increase it during the week, cap it at 100.
Right,
Okay,
but I'd
All right.
rather be going at 90,
All right,
at night between 90 and 95, make sure we're above 90.
okay,
Alright, so, well, at least 90 CFS being released. Increase that as inflows increase accordingly and cap it at 100.
Okay,
All right.
at least 90
Okay.
CFS.
Amending the motion, I will second it. Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. We have Town of Phillipsburg. Come on up.
Oh, you have one item
sure.
before that.
Request to
Oh.
appoint Deputy Lucero.
Oops, never mind, sorry.
The sheriff
10
wasn't,
o'clock.
he wasn't certain he would be able to make it over here, for that this morning, but, he would like it if you guys would appoint Deputy Lucero as a deputy coroner to help his operations over there, and that is something that you guys do by statute, not him.
There's multiple deputy coroners,
Right.
which makes it helpful for him
Yeah.
when things get busy. And so, yeah, Deputy Barkel's a deputy coroner as well as Deputy Olson.
I'll make a motion to appoint Deputy Lucero as a deputy coroner.
I'll second that. Any public comment?
Oh, the undersheriff is also a deputy coroner.
What?
The undersheriff's also, a
Got
deputy.
lots of deputy
But-
coroners.
More help the better.
Okay,
Aye.
aye. All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Now we can do the Town of Phillipsburg. I'm new at this.
How's it going?
Good.
Solo today, huh?
Yeah, they're doing a union contract with us.
Um,
I'd rather do this.
I thought we'd approached clerk reporter's office.
For some,
Do we
Yeah,
have
let me-
anything?
wasn't handed off.
Because we discussed,
Let me go back
Looking
up.
at what the inflationary
right. Well,
cost.
what we discussed last week was 5% increase for this fiscal year, and then 3.5 for the next 3 years is what we discussed.
And clerk and recorder is gonna look at the.
Well, I asked them to compile what the salary would be going forward with one deputy, but that doesn't include everything. I mean, it's
Jason White for the record for people online. We put together what it would be if we increased it by 2% and 3%. So right now, the fiscal year of 23, it looks like we're paying 87,930 and some change. So an increase of 2%, like next year would be 89,000 for the fiscal year of 24. And then if we did 3%, fiscal year of 24 would be 90,000. So. And then each year, obviously, it goes up more and more, but we did it for the next 5 years.
right. So that doesn't include any, that's just keeping it the same, correct?
Yeah, I believe.
At
So.
at
Well,
the
the-
2%.
Be the 2% and 3%.
Yeah,
So 2% this year, and then 3% the next 2 years.
well, he had it, we put it down like if you did 3% just across the board, what it would be for the next 5 years. Or what the 2% would be for the next 5 years if you stayed at 2%, but. Yeah, but
2% and 3% and look.
Oh, so-
comparable.
Yes,
Billy was just saying that you had thought I was giving you some paperwork or
so when
something.
I came in last week, I asked if you could figure that out at 5%, and
And we had figured that before you left the office and you had all that paperwork with you. I didn't take copies of any of that.
okay. So, yeah, the 87,000. Sorry, Becky, thank
That's
you.
okay.
Because we said we had discussed that we were going to submit to you for this year because of inflationary, that we're gonna up at 5%. And then every year after for the next would be 3.5. So I guess we need to do that and submit it to them, and then they come back for. And you're saying that you're willing to do 2%.
Well, I was just giving numbers, he just wanted to give numbers, so we had something to go off. I don't think we really. Committed to it, and we also have it down as if you were to up at 3% too, right now. It would, so if we did 3% right now. The fiscal year for 24 would be 90,568. Fiscal year 25 would be 93,258. Fiscal year 26 would be 96,057. Fiscal year 27 would be 98,938, and then fiscal year 28 would be 101,907. That's if we went up 3% across the board.
Right.
So
What did you find out on the salary that was of the deputy? Is that what you were looking at?
Well, we were just, we can't really give them the salary because of the fact that we don't know what we're given for COLA, so we can't. Really, but just,
What if it was 5% COLA? Was it could be
well, we,
calculated?
okay, so what, in general, what the cost of living increases that came from MACO is 8%. That's what it's stating is 8% for this fiscal year.
And that will be discussed at the
Yeah.
compensation board meeting next week.
And what we discussed is just offering, saying, okay, the contract when it.
I'm just thinking it's easier sell to the town council when you say our costs are up 5%, and then this.
Costs are up a lot.
Yeah,
Higher than 5%.
okay, so,
And they are,
yeah,
everybody's cost.
but we.
yeah,
Then the sheriff wanted to work with the town, and so. What I. Was thinking is that the sheriff was gonna come in and talk to they were gonna.
He is very light on coverage today and is not able to come in today.
So what we did is we kind of rounded it about because inflation is a lot higher than 5%. Sorry to watch my hands. And so we were gonna do the 5% and 3.5 after. And then,
so you're going off the basically the MACO is gonna be 8%, potentially the compensation board could give 8%, but we want to look at 5%.
we'll look at 5 across the board.
Yeah,
I don't see how we can do this 5 years out. I mean, because everything's all.
Well, it isn't, it's okay, it isn't. You're not looking at, okay, we're gonna give this, we're gonna make you, because our COLA is 8%, we're gonna say we want 8%. This is, what we're looking at is our budget, is it's inflationary is higher than the 5%, it is higher, but we are suggesting that we will ask 5% more on our contract. Is what.
the way I see how you can, I'm encouraging you to do a 4-year contract, because I think, I mean, it's a, security there for both sides. But I think where you can adjust it at is in when it expires in 4 years, and then you could do a higher step, the first. That's where I think you adjust the difference in, but that's your call.
And see, in looking at
That's
this,
the only way you can do it.
this contract. And I could probably go find the prior ones and, they're relatively. They don't give the exact same cost of living as what the county gives the employees. It's just what they're looking at is general purposes on a contract with the cities and the inflationary with the last couple of years is like the 5% because of the fact that it's gone up so high. So if we presented that to you to take to your,
We got a meeting tonight, so I could, so if you want, I could tell them, you guys are asking for 5% this first year, and then after that, 3.5%. See what they say.
And you have a meeting tonight and we can have it on the agenda.
The following
Excellent.
week.
That work? You good with that, Chuck?
That, yeah, that's only, you know, we, like I said, the mayor was just got down, we're jotting down numbers.
right,
That's only, you know. For those 1 years, he did 3%, so that's only 0.5% more than what. He was going off, I don't think that's gonna be like a. And then with 5%, that's,
well, then looking at the prior 4 years. With the inflation the way it was, and we just did 2% a year,
yeah,
And
and we're
just
going up
kind of catch up,
1.5%.
Yeah. which. We felt that 5%, although it isn't the 8%, but it's still. Something where we can cover some of the costs that. We're including in all the. With the extra activities that are going on with town of Phillipsburg.
Don't have to sell me.
Well, you look at his increase in like vehicle prices would be. Likely more than 8%.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we
So-
don't, I mean, that's what.
Yeah.
We're, and what when we said, take it home and just see what you'd do with it. What you'd be able to do with it, knowing and not, and I know the sheriff wanted to be reasonable, he didn't.
Yeah.
He actually was shooting himself in the foot,
He's
Right.
wanting to make it work for
Yeah,
both.
yeah.
Sides.
so making it work for both parties,
Yep.
try that, okay,
Sounds good, I'll take that down to him tonight, it's on our agenda, so
okay.
see what they say.
I want
And
to bring up
for-
one more thing that I forgot. I remember I forgot during public discussion, but that QRU, didn't we agree that that would be in the paper? And for a couple of weeks, and then looking for volunteers, and then we're gonna have a meeting and see what we can do.
Yeah, yeah,
Looking at the paper.
We got it in the paper. I have it on the agenda next week for a public
I haven't
meeting.
seen anything in the paper.
Oh. I
so I put it off for a couple weeks in the paper, for the agenda and yeah, make sure. it
Get
gets
in the
in.
Yeah.
paper.
you can push it off. I have reached out to the state for some information on QRUs and requirements and whatnot, and I have not been able to hear back. So pushing it off actually might be beneficial.
Okay, but we'll get that in the paper then.
Yeah.
And put that off for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll
So if it was in the paper
put it in.
following Thursday and then. Two following Thursday, so it'd probably
Pushed
be
off 2 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
then.
Oh, and as a side note, as I'm looking at my calendar, the 4th of July is a Tuesday, so you won't have a meeting that day.
Oh, good. Okay.
We probably won't have one either, we'll probably have to push our. first.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So
well,
that's
yeah,
good with you,
that's
okay,
good with me, I can't, I didn't think of anything else during the week,
okay,
so.
You have a
Okay.
public comment.
go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano. Not hearing too well the way the mics are set up. Just for confirmation, Councilman Jason White is there?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Phillipsburg Councilman. Okay. And you are gonna have a meeting tonight because I tried to find the agenda online and I didn't see any agenda. The last one was May 16th. So there will be a meeting tonight.
Yes, yeah, our website doesn't get run as good as the one up here.
Yeah, and I didn't find anything posted anywhere either, so that's interesting. I'll see you tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, I noticed meetings don't get, like, when people hand the meetings into the post office. It's up to them when they hang it, because I noticed our meeting wasn't there and your guys' meeting today wasn't in it either. I had last week's meeting on there still, so. That's at the mercy of the post office. That's nothing that, you know, they can do up here, so. I have noticed that.
Okay, well, thanks for coming in and taking
All right.
that back.
Yes, we'll get that discussed tonight, so.
Appreciate that.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a-
Went down the grade yesterday. It's horrible, the rocks.
Aren't they
Somebody
crazy?
built
They're crazy.
one of those little rock things, what do you call them?
Yeah,
A carry or something? What's it called?
I don't know, but yeah, I know, I thought.
Oh, to put them
It
in?
stacked rocks on top of each other.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Miners used to do it years ago and it was taken
Yeah.
up claim and it's called something, what's it called?
I
A
can't-
carry or,
I can't.
you know?
I believe it's Karen. What we call
Anyway, yeah,
Yeah. they
They're
built one.
big ones too. There's some big rocks.
Yeah,
well, that's the one that, you know.
That
rock-
big one that was like the size of a.
That's the
car.
one after they did it, you know, I drove up there, I think Blaine saw the same thing, now you look up there. Did you
yeah,
see that?
there's a
It was
huge
like-
deal, if it comes down, it's gonna
Paul
take out the,
Talon- Paul Talon sent me a
road.
picture of that one over, he was over some break when it fell. He was
That-
like, look at that.
the deal last summer was just
It was a
a
joke.
scam, I mean, with millions and millions and.
but it didn't work.
Well, yeah,
there's-
there's still a bunch of practice.
You gotta,
It's
yeah,
worse
get to the
now.
heart of the problem. and
Yeah. Worse.
You know.
They also call them Stone Johnnies.
Stone Johnnies, I've never heard that term.
I can remember Stone Johnny. Karen's, Karen, C-A-I-R-N-S. Karen, C-A-I-R-N-S, Karen's, Karen.
Hmm.
You've seen them
Good to
though,
know.
when you've probably gone around the mining claims, they stack them. And they stay stacked, that's what surprises me is they stay stacked,
Know what they're doing.
yeah. There's one place going up, heading up Stumptown and up beyond, there's all kinds of them stacked. all over the place. So I guess I misunderstood. Or that misunderstood me.
Oh, on that, I didn't know what we're talking about.
Hey,
Hello.
what's happening?
She wants to see the MDT thing.
Yeah. Isn't it? That's it.
I like it.
I'm discussing.
You're doing what?
Just down to complain on MDT,
I like it.
so.
Are they on?
They're gonna get on Zoom. They're not on yet.
Yeah.
I called them and complained over Memorial Day. I felt like a bad person. I've never done that before. But out on the 348, right before you get to the bridge, that stretch by Willow Creek, there's a huge hole eaten in the road.
Oh, really?
Huge, like huge. There's no signage or anything. There's just like a giant hole. And there's so much traffic Memorial Day that you're just stuck. Like usually I just shoot
Where's it
over.
at?
Right, right before you hit the bridge. And you're right.
On Marshall Creek Road?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
you're right on that stretch. You go right around Bras and they have their little Airbnb right here. It's right across from that. And then I pulled off, of course, and walked back. So I was like, I'm gonna take a picture of this. And there's just huge chunks of asphalt everywhere where it's just flipping up.
Is the water eaten? I mean, is it wet?
There was water in it, but it was raining that day, so I don't.
I don't understand when
That's
they
what I do.
first chip sealed down Highway 1 here close to Drummond.
Uh-huh.
They were chip sealing like right over potholes. I don't, why do that? I mean, I know it's just kind of they were doing like preliminary work, but why do that?
Yeah,
No kidding.
it's insane.
Yeah,
And I've had a bunch of people call complaining about that weight. That's, I don't know if it's gotten better.
No, because they,
Oh, I
I
know.
mean, they do have two
I-
pilot trucks, but it's still sometimes a 10-minute wait.
Yeah, I mean, I had people who were like, I've been here 40 minutes.
but
Wow,
at that point, right?
Yeah, like.
That's crazy. I haven't seen it that bad, but yeah, that is going to long.
Gail Leifert said, she waited 40 minutes, 45 minutes, she's coming up to the planning board meeting.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, Wade said he came over yesterday, it was almost like an hour, he felt, well, of course, he felt like it was an hour, but.
so yeah, that means that they're not running too good.
That's right.
Yeah, a lot of times they are, but not, obviously not throughout the
days.
day. Yeah,
Oh, here's MDT. I think. Okay. All right, I'm not sure who all is on from MDT, so if you could raise your hand, then I can make you co-host, so you can unmute.
Okay,
That would be helpful.
so our next agenda item. Is with the MDT to discuss the Flint Creek Pass project. So. I don't know, where do we start? Do we start with discussion from? The MDT
From where?
for the,
well, there has there been public complaints that
Yeah.
the job didn't. The major
Well,
portions of the
on
job
Flint
still need done, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I kind of brought this up earlier, that, right after they got it done. I'd go up there and look up there in a great big boulder, you could see it was. just barely sitting there, and then I see now it's come down. You know, and a ton of other rock, and every time I go up there. There's more rock that come down, and that thing, when they closed that road to do this job. It was supposed to alleviate all that. And it didn't do anything after that. I think it's worse, to tell you the truth, and
Great.
I still see fractured rocks up there, and I'm not pulling over looking, I'm just glancing as I go by.
There's a huge segment of rock up there that's about to, looks like it's
Okay.
precarious.
So, that is the reason we are having this discussion. And I noticed that Matt had his hand raised.
Yes, and I have made them co-hosts. I believe they are our reps from MDT.
Okay, so Matt, if you wanna comment, go for it.
Yeah, so when we went through that project, we got our engineers up on ropes and they went through and evaluated what was necessary to be removed and what was practical to get removed, and that's what we did. There's 10,000 rocks up there that are going to come down, and they're all going to continue to come down. What we did was mitigate the biggest hazards that we had on the project, and we can't get it. We'll never get them all off that hill.
Well,
So
this is Blake Crouch of the county attorney. You should fire your engineers. Because there's a huge segment up there that your engineers are giving you bad advice.
I mean, I can see it as Commissioner Hinkle. When I'm just driving by, and you look up there and you go, wow, look at that, and
Yeah.
right after it was done, like I said before, there was a big boulder sitting there. I mean, I didn't want to drive under.
It's not a little,
You know,
not
now-
little rocks you're talking about. You're talking about, Yeah, huge.
And then all the little ones.
Can I comment, Blanche?
Okay, go ahead.
This is Linda Bach. I'm the planner for Granite County. But I live in Anaconda, so I drive it every day and I have for 20 years. It always has little bits of rock that come down. That's nothing new. We expect rock to come down. I've never seen rock come down like this year. And I mean, the huge stuff that's coming down. And it's not coming down everywhere else on the grade. It's coming down where the work was done. That section exclusively is so filled with rock. I don't know how much more you can get in there. And there's a rock that's like the size of a Volkswagen that came off the hill this year. And it's like, I gotta wonder, I mean, I had questioned last year when you guys were about to do the project, why are we doing this in winter? When water's gonna get in the rock, you're destabilizing the rock, water's gonna get in there and it's gonna fracture it. And sure enough, and it was said that you guys were gonna be done by like September, and I don't even think it got really started till September. And sure enough, they were up there trying to do this project in the snow, in the rain. And yeah, it was, and now we've got huge amounts of rock coming down, and it's like, are our local guys gonna have to go up there and figure out how to get all that out? Is that not the contractor's responsibility under their contract to come in and at least clean that section? Because that's the worst section. And I mean, I have been driving up the hill this year where I've seen basketball-sized rocks come off in front of my car. And it's like, I've never seen it like this. I've never seen it like this. And we all understand it, that rock's coming off of it every year, but not like this year. Not like it is in that section where it really got messed around with. And you gotta wonder if part of it was just bad planning and the timing that we did it. And yeah, I mean, engineering wise, are you gonna send engineers back up to see if you've actually created a problem in that section?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, here, I have to make. Hold on, sorry, make co-host. Sorry, Jeff, now you should be able to unmute.
No. Okay, thank you. So hopefully everyone's hearing me okay. Yeah, so my name's Jeff Jackson. I am the MDT Geotechnical and Pavement Bureau Chief here in Helena. I oversee the geotechnical engineers, geologists we have here. And so, you know, I attended this. Obviously, there's concerns. We're hearing that loud and clear. But, you know, a few things just as I think everyone knows, and we've just heard, you know, that slope has been problematic for years and years and years. There was, you know, a bigger project 20 years ago, maybe in that area, cleaned up some stuff. We went back in there again and, you know, did some, I like to think of it as maintenance here. You know, it's when we have a car, you have to do periodic maintenance. When we have a rock slope, we need to do maintenance as well. And, you know, it's not uncommon after you do some of these slopes to see short-term increased rockfall, and everyone's like, what? The slope was good until you guys fixed it. And then, you know, that's the concern, and that's kind of what we're hearing. And we've seen this in other areas. And part of that is just how you do this rock slope. You get up there and remove rocks and it changes the stresses in there. And I'm not going to get into the engineering part, but that's not uncommon to see a little bit of increased rock issues right after you do the work. But try and think of like the bigger picture, longer term, what we did is beneficial to that slope. For sure. Sometimes, you know, the timing might not be right. There might be water events where maybe it doesn't seem like it was the greatest solution from the road level. But there is a lot of smart people that looked at this slope. We had consultants that are from Oregon that helped us on this project, and they're kind of the, you know, state-of-the-art practice consultants that do this work. They helped us with it. And so there's, you know, a lot of, and as Matt, you know, was talking about, you know, a lot of people have evaluated this, and we try and balance, you know, what can we do with our funding, and, you know, what, try and make good decisions, try and take care of things. And that's a balance. I'll just talk a little bit high level here. So we have all of our rock slopes across the state are inventoried. There's like 1,800 of them. And this is from about 5 years ago. So 5 years ago costs, you know, just to get all of those up to a fair condition was $1 billion with a B. So, you know, that's a lot. And then the pavement part of MDT is also under some of my engineering, and the needs there are 2 billion with a B across the state. So there's a huge amount of needs throughout the state, and I'm not trying to whine about it. It might come across that way. I'm sorry if it does. But, you know, so we really try to get our best bang for the buck at project sites where we can improve them, but we know it may not be fixing it forever and ever because we just cannot afford that kind of cost for projects sometimes. And so that was the approach on Flint Creek. We tried to pick some of the worst areas that we could see. As Matt said, you know, we had people get on ropes, look at the slope, the scale. The contractor has experts that do that. So there was a lot of time and effort and that went into the engineering. And so we have had people go look at it post-construction to evaluate things. I think Matt called us about some rocks coming down after the fact, and we had our consultant look at it. Brett's on the call here, I think, went and looked at that as well. So, you know, I do appreciate this, and, you know, we can go look at it again and try and see if there's, you know, this certain boulder people are seeing. And we've had drones out there, so sometimes looking at it from the road is a much different perspective than above or on a rope. And so, you know, we can always go look at these again, but I just wanted to kind of give some background on some of this. And then also, and I'm losing my train of thought, I'm sorry. Oh, on the construction timing, you know, sometimes, and that's not, we don't get involved with that, the geotech group, as much as maybe the district, but some of that does depend on, you know, when school's in session and traffic and, you know, the funding. We use the federal fiscal year funding. So all of those kind of things factor in as well on sometimes on when you can let these projects. So that, I just wanted to say a few things about how the project developed, what we're trying to do out there. We do recognize there's, you know, you can't fix everything. We try and be good stewards to the taxpayer with what funding we have and improve things. And like I said, I know it's not intuitive that sometimes you do these and you initially see more rocks come down. We've seen that on other projects. We've heard that from other states. We meet with other states on these kind of problems. And then, like I said, I hope, you know, from a bigger picture, long term, it does improve the situation, although in the short term, when some more rocks come down and we were just up working on it, it may not appear that way, and we certainly can appreciate that. So I don't know if Brett or Cameron or Matt, if anyone wants to add to that or anything.
Jeff, excuse me, what I'd like to say is you said you did a post, but you need to come look at it now. When you made your statement, yeah, we expect a little bit to come down. There isn't a little bit, it is a lot. And it is to the point where this is the reason we asked you to be with us today, is the fact that this isn't little, this is major, and someone needs to really come look at it, is what we're saying. I mean, understandably, you spent this in your budgets, but initially we need someone to come look this and visually look at it to see that what you're stating a little bit after the fact comes down. This is not a little bit. This is tremendous.
And I guess the thing is that I mean, I respect that you guys hired consultants and people with expertise, but it's like, when you brought the project into the commission, we had questions about the timing of it, and it wasn't worked around our school bus schedule, because it started during the school season and we actually had to route the school bus up a crazy road to get around it. So, I mean, we really had questions about when you're doing it, and it just seemed like really bad timing. And, you know, I respect that you had consultants come in, but sometimes when the locals are saying, hey, it's like, we feel like you guys don't take the local voice too well here. It's saying, hey, we drive it every day. We've seen the rock come down. We know what happens when it destabilizes. And that doesn't seem like it gets heard sometimes. And I mean, I've gone through a blasting project where rock did not come down like this. I've gone through the project where they bolted. Rock did not come down like this. This is different. This one was different.
Well, also when you miss a huge boulder. I mean, I saw it the first time I drove up there after they were done.
And it's down now.
Yeah.
It came down, and that was one that the locals were saying they aren't sure how to get rid of it. It's so big. It's like they're gonna have to break it apart to get rid of it.
There's a segment that's gonna take out the highway here. It's gotta be, I would encourage you to look at it for preventative on that the highway doesn't get taken out.
Any comment?
I did just want to let everyone know, our one geologist who was more involved in this project, Brett Bowney, is having technical difficulties, so he had to jump off and then he tried to jump back on, but he's still not able to join us. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. And he would have more, you know, specific knowledge on this project maybe than Jeff and I would have. But I also did want to reach out that we are in contact with our maintenance folks, and they have kind of indicated that it's more of just a, you know, standard wet year is kind of what they were indicating for what they're seeing with what's coming down. There was the one big event that we were notified of, but we just, you know, yeah, I think we will have to come back out and look at it, but our maintenance folks are kind of telling us it's just a standard wet year. So we have gotten some of that feedback.
Okay, Cameron, thank you. When was your maintenance crew out there?
I don't know. I know they go through regularly. And we just reached out to them before this meeting just to get a little more information, you know, so that we weren't going in completely blind. But I don't know, Matt, if you know how often maintenance drives that. I don't, but I would imagine it would be like most of our roads, they would drive it daily.
Yeah, they drive that daily.
Okay, so basically what we're asking is please come look at it now. It's almost an emergency situation. That's why we are asking you to come look at it now, not You looked at it a month or so ago and it seemed fine. Now, it's dangerous now. Okay, so I have another public comment coming from, go ahead, Elena.
Thank you for the record. I have to agree. I believe it was Linda Bork. It is dangerous. As far, I have a place up there at Georgetown Lake. I have traveled on that road a number of times, not only for rocks coming down, but if there's a rock in the middle of the road on a curve and somebody's coming down on the other side, to avoid that rock, they go into the opposite lane. And that is a major catastrophe that's going to happen. And also I agree with, I believe it was Mr. Bradshaw, there is a portion up there, I watch it every day. It's separating, a wall separating, and that will take off the highway. And when we're talking about human life, I don't think that cost or funding or money should even enter into this. That's something should be done, and it should be done right away. Thank you.
Okay, we have another public comment from Scott McDonald. Go ahead, Scott.
Hold on. Oh, everything's moving around.
Scott?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I just wanted to comment on Cameron's thing. Sounds like the state come to the meeting unprepared, said you can't blind. That's not so good. When you got local people on the ground telling you what's the problem, and you guys show up and tell us about drone pictures.
No, that's what I was saying. I didn't say we came in blind. We reached out to maintenance before this meeting, so we weren't blind. Maybe I cut out there at an inopportune time, but I was saying, no, we've reached out to maintenance to kind of get their feedback. They're the, representative for MDT that drives this road daily. So that's what we're getting their feedback. And we hadn't heard, this same level of urgency from our folks. So I apologize if I cut out there, but we did not come in blind. We reached out to them.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? So end result, I would ask to reach out to maintenance one more time. You're saying that they didn't feel that it was, and it's local people,
And I guess I've, talked with people who talked with maintenance, and that's not what I hear. They don't know how they're gonna move some of it. It's so big. So I guess, I don't know. It's a very disheartening project. Because we do have, the ditches are 100% full with rock in that spot. And like I said, it's only in that spot. Everywhere else up the grade, including the other, like there was 2 spots that got worked on. One of them's fine. It didn't have much come down. But the other one is a disaster. It had everything come down. So it's like, everything else had normal amounts of rock that they'll go up eventually and scoop it up and take it away. But this, I don't even know how they're gonna move some of it.
That's an important point on the, if they're different, then there's.
Yeah,
The 2 parts they worked on are different.
yeah,
Something
the 2
going on
parts
there.
you worked on are vastly different. One, no problems. One, everything came down.
any comment?
Well, let's go look at it and maybe we'll get something else done. They can come back to us later and inform us.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I interrupted. This is Jeff Jackson. Yeah, we'd be more than happy. We'll send some guys out to look at this slope, not maintenance. Our engineers, geologists will evaluate it. Maybe Matt, if you could meet us, or if there's, specifics on the one spot, and I don't know this, you know, I've been on that road, but I don't know the spot of concern, but we'll figure that out and take a look at it, evaluate what we did. I mean, we're more than happy, and we'll get back and see what we think from our analysis. We'll go look at it. You know, we're all professionals. We'll go check it out, and you know, hopefully that will ease some concern. I mean, we'll do that and do it soon. So it's not like, you know, we'll check it out in 2 months. I mean, we're going to check it out very soon. We'll go up there, we'll look at it, we'll make an assessment. As Cameron said, you know, our maintenance folks are our eyes and ears on the road. They drive those things every day. And, you know, when they see something very concerning, they close the road down, they act on that stuff. So, like we said, we haven't heard that from them, but that doesn't mean there's not a concern. I'm not saying there's not. So we will send some people out and look at it from, you know, the geotechnical and geologist engineering perspective, and work with our maintenance folks, with our district, Missoula district people, Matt Strub, and see what we think we may or may not need to do out there. So I hope that's, you know, what you're wanting to hear. I mean, we're definitely committed to doing that.
Thank you. That's what we're asking. I mean, we're just asking, you need to go look at it, and if you haven't heard back from maintenance, that's saying, I don't know, but we need to hear something back, how they feel about it concerning what it is exactly at this very moment. Thank you.
Yeah, and I might reach out and ask for it. Is there, you know, one member of the commission that would be available maybe to look at it with us when we're out there, just so we're not missing the area of concern and that you're speaking of, the wall that is separating. If there's one certain thing, sometimes we may not see it exactly the same, and so it might be nice to have a contact, maybe to meet out there, so we can look at that specific spot, so that we don't get together again and have a different perspective.
Okay,
Yeah, this is Chuck Hinkle, Commissioner. You can let me know when. I can't do it tomorrow. I can't do it Monday.
did you have another comment, Chuck?
Yeah, I want to bring up the long wait times on the project down by Drummond on Highway 1.
Yeah, some say they had wait times of 40 minutes.
40 minutes to an hour, I've heard. And
This is concerning the road work from Phillipsburg to Drummond. This is another question.
It's not all the time, but they're having some 40-minute waits, it sounds like.
Who couldn't address that? Which one of you?
well,
I don't have any intimate knowledge of that project. The manager that covering that actually has an office next door to me. I'll bring his concerns to him, your concerns to him, and see if they can reduce those wait times.
yeah, that'd be good.
I don't have any other answer other than that.
Okay, thanks. But like I say, let me know when you want to go up there and we'll try to work out a time. Chuck Hinkle.
Okay, so do we need to maybe have you, Jeff, get a hold of Billy, and then she can get hold of Chuck on a time that you can meet up there to look at that?
Yeah. that sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah, we could do that. And I'm sorry, who did you say to get a hold of? Bill? I don't know that.
Billy, can you give him your email address?
Yes, I can just coordinate with you through Joan, right? Who does a lot of your guys' coordination with MDT.
Yeah, that's,
Okay,
yes.
I will
You go
coordinate.
through her, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I will
that
coordinate.
sounds perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm at least happy I got to complain about it.
No, you did.
That's-
very well.
yeah.
It's
Thank you.
really bad this year, and they should know that it's,
Yeah, thanks for
Well,
coming down.
You're
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
You said you got a hold of management, or?
Well, I've talked to Sarah numerous times, and that's not what Leo's saying, that it's normal. And yeah, and he's like, I think he hasn't moved some of it because he doesn't know how to move some of it. He can't
Yeah,
physically lift it.
questioning that.
Yeah.
The Yeah,
So that's our maintenance then is the state
Yeah.
highway?
So-
Yeah, Leo is the one that.
He goes and inspects it?
He's their maintenance guy that they said they talked to.
they're, yeah, they're saying what they want them to say without,
Yeah,
actually
there you go.
considering it.
And I think you have on the 27th, MDT is here just to talk about projects in general. This one they scheduled earlier because I told them you were concerned and they wanted the project team in. So I'll let her know about the Phillipsburg to Drummond project, so they'll know that you guys want to talk about that.
So it looks like our 11 AM Granite County Medical Center. She called and canceled.
Yes.
Tabling that for a week. Or,
Whenever she can reach, yeah. Coordinate.
So can we go ahead and do the writing sun then and? Or we have to wait till,
Up to the chair.
We're following the agenda.
It does say you can be.
So is
flexible.
it
It does
just
say you can be flexible.
discussion?
Yeah, it's a discussion.
is open or closed?
Up to the commission. Yeah, litigation strategy can be, if you want it closed, it can be, but I don't have anything that's,
Fancy.
I think need to be closed. I recommend it be open.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know with the maintenance. I thought maybe it was a special person that came and looked at it and it's state highway road crew.
I think it'd be good, Chuck can go up there and show them the
Yeah.
big segment that's about to. It's coming away, because they did nothing with that last year, did they? Just worked around it.
Did you stop and look at it? I just looked at it when we driving by.
Moving way over.
I've gone real slow by it, and yeah, I mean, it's something they've got to be looking at.
Big slabs.
Yeah,
My grandpa always told me that road is slowly falling off the side of the hill.
well, it just seems like they spent millions last summer and didn't.
Well,
Didn't-
yeah.
didn't
And
accomplish
the whole
anything.
thing was,
Yeah.
this was to end that. I
Yeah,
remember them saying that. That's why they had to close it, do a good job.
blasting
We
the
have it on
hillside.
video.
Hmm?
We have it
Nature,
on video.
Yeah,
They were
and didn't even
remember?
touch the worst part, the part that needed the most.
And just remembering that it was at their schedule and not, and it was too bad that they couldn't get started, so.
It was all that it was all contractor driven. The contractor couldn't do it, and they said that. But
Mhm.
But I just can't imagine them not knocking that big rock down. I mean,
the Volkswagen one that came down, yeah,
like I said, the first time I drove up now.
that it's a car.
Yeah,
And that's the one that came down.
yeah, it came down.
Can you imagine if it had rolled in the,
Kill someone,
But
multiple people.
how could you leave the job if you're doing that? And leave a great big rock just sitting there teetering over the
Yeah,
road?
it's
I mean, I just don't understand it. You know, it's,
after spending millions
Yeah.
and leave that, it doesn't make sense. Couldn't have stated any better, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it was
Got the
clear.
so on this discussion with Rising Sun. This is just discussion where you're gonna give us an update. There isn't going to be anybody signing on that wants to give their public opinion from.
This is more to-
Lexington.
update the commission, and it's up to you if you want to wait until the lot of time. The agenda does say the times are flexible.
And we wouldn't have this problem if we hadn't had a cancellation. So being as we've had a cancellation, I think we can move to the next agenda item.
Alright.
Can we?
Sounds
May
good.
we?
So Rising Sun is, back to the Supreme Court for the second time. The county originally won summary judgment. That went to Supreme Court and was reversed. Went back to district court for a trial. County won. That's been appealed. So we've had required mediation, which would be for the third time required by the Montana Supreme Court. And we did not reach even a preliminary settlement. They have that common ground, that 1.27 acres up there, they're willing to convey to the county that has the pond on it, but once the county has or the fire department has the pond, you still have to put in either a functioning pond or cisterns. Cisterns would probably be the better bet, because it'd be the same amount of cost as the pond, but would be less maintenance. I brought it up, the idea, to the fire department. The county has those Title III funds, 400,000 that could be used for cisterns, but you got forest surrounds that national forest surrounds that subdivision. Their fire department's point of view is it should be Jack McLeod that comes up and pays, pays that judgment amount. I think we'll win in the Supreme Court. The issue is, we win in the Supreme Court. It's not that he just will cut us a check. We've got to go after those assets, which he's not going to be the easiest job. But my thought of mediation was if he would convey that land and then come up with some money that potentially the county could add to it. But his offer is that land plus like 5,000, I think it was. Just nothing that is going to be, I think, beneficial. The other issue that we're facing too is the county has a judgment against them, gets the money and puts something into that's not going to be then maintained, because the homeowners in that subdivision are not actively, they're not caring about it really. The thought could be of getting that common land, selling it, and that money going to the fire department. Fire department doesn't like that idea. We're kind of, it's a real catch-22 on what could be done there. At least the fire department had the money, they could then go put it towards other projects where they're going to benefit that area. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts?
What are our thoughts?
You're talking about pond, but
The
because the pond could freeze over.
They could put a functioning pond in there. It could be engineered. Bob Church, the Great West engineer, said that. But he said the cost for the pond would be approximately the same cost as to putting two large cisterns in there to get the two 15,000 gallon tanks. You'd be looking at over 100,000 for new pond or the cisterns. If I was sitting in the commission shoes right now, I'd consider taking that land from them and using using Title III monies to put cisterns in, but that wouldn't make the fire department happy, because they think that's letting Jack McLeod off the hook. And in a sense it is, but it's not. To me, this isn't about letting him have it. It's about trying to But this was all about helping the fire department, so
Right,
they have the
Right.
sufficient water right there. It's about public safety,
so he's willing to
convey that
convey that land.
common land and then, was 5,000.
So- It's common land, does that mean all the residents own part of it, or?
Well, right now, he has the ownership of that common land and a company of his. But that's another thing, that land was set aside for the homeowners. To
Yeah, I mean,
have
that's,
use of and
I call it common ground and he still owns it.
well, it just hasn't been, there's not a functioning homeowners association. It's so it's basically holding it in trust for the homeowners association, what it amounts to.
So it's Title III money. How much is there? Where's it come from?
That's
For the-
that,
The federal,
There's that-
yeah, federal monies that you could use for
In
search and
forest.
rescue and use for
Yeah.
your forest, so you bought drone and ATV for search and rescue, that's gotta be allocated to be used by 2026. I
right,
understand,
because
it's 400,000. So granted, there's other projects and uses, but this could be one of them.
And you said this thing would, cistern would cost $100.
That's the testimony, the expert testimony at the trial was 103,000 for redoing the ponds. And then Bob Church testimony was a reasonable amount. And then he said the cisterns, 15,000 gallon cisterns would be about the same with engineering, but he was, wasn't given a specific number, he said that was a reasonable.
it's in the forest, and so you can use the Title III money, is that what you're saying?
It's Title III monies could be used on it.
Right,
But right now, we're just proceeding forward to briefing.
Who
Supreme
would
Court.
maintain it then?
It should be on the homeowners, but can the county enforce that against them? No, it'd be,
So then
Ultimately,
we'd have to maintain.
yeah, it'd be the fire department that doesn't really want to, yeah.
well, it's to benefit them, why would they?
I think their point of view is, why should it be on us when it's benefiting it's benefiting that subdivision? But the subdivisions,
But couldn't they use it for other fires?
yeah,
I mean, so
sitting there,
it doesn't have to be just right there.
Yeah.
I mean, something on down the road or something.
I think commission should look at. But you don't have to do it right away, because go through the Supreme Court. We win, we go after assets and then potentially could supplement that with. The Title III, that something you consider.
Then looking at the Title III on the amount that has to be sent back if it's not expended. And if this is a benefit to that subdivision and we're able to do it.
How much can you see what's in that Title III? It's approximately 400,000.
When you got that amount, was it recent? That 100,000? Or do you think there's a?
Well, I mean, that was, been a year now, the trials was into,
Okay.
that cost estimate was probably a year ago, the trial was 6 months ago.
So
So you're gonna have inflation is continuing
to go up, but not,
to go up.
Okay.
This cistern or the pond would have to be engineered. There is on that area, that common area, there's some slope there, so cistern would
go in.
fit.
So that's $100,000 with engineering or
No,
Just the
the
cistern.
total project would hopefully be in the 100,000 range, but
engineering and.
Yeah. but
Yeah, I mean.
There's no, yeah, it's. Don't hold me to that, because. Things seem like they go when you,
1 to
it'd have to
2.
be bid out and. Yeah, you never know what the bids would come in at.
If I knew.
So if we accepted that. Would this still go to Supreme Court?
Oh, we could get a settlement. For I mean, the common area plus 5,000. And that offer is now not on the table, but we could go back, we could do some negotiations still
If
before
we get that 5,000 increase a little bit.
we
So.
tried mediation.
Title III. Cash is. 448,301.
Good chunk that has to be
Expended.
not expended, allocated, at least so
Allocated.
budgeted
Okay.
for use.
It's
So you gotta,
budgeted.
so you have to, well, you have to have a specific project for it.
So in this, at the one point where it had to be advertised, this. Still have to be advertised that we're gonna.
So
have be-
that could be done in the, like the, public, the yearly budget process, or, yeah, or separately, but yeah, advertise. And then RAC, the Resource Advisory Committee, has to approve it.
Identify.
So. State fire or foresters could use those. Use that water.
It'd be, it would, whoever owns it. It's the fire service area would have to agree to them being able to use it. They don't have automatic use.
Couldn't, since we're paying for it, couldn't we say that? Multiple agencies.
Yeah, well, and the fire department up there is gonna agree to that anyway, yeah, they're,
So I mean, so that it benefit,
yeah,
you know, beyond just that, so.
yeah.
If you could spend it, it's for their benefit.
So my advice would be wait and see here what happens with the Supreme Court. Because county has, they have some arguments on that the county released contract, the special improvements agreement and the statute of limitation, but they didn't, and they're not good arguments, but they didn't even put those affirmative defenses in their answer, which they're required to do, or you lose those. So they're, the arguments they're going on are weak legally to start with, but are barred because they didn't put them in their answer.
Yeah.
So. You never know. I thought we were strong in the first round of the Supreme Court.
Like the case that won't go away.
Because their experts said, oh, I didn't even design that pond for year-round use, where they admitted it had to be. And the Supreme Court said, well, there's still a material issue of fact on whether it actually freezes up. We know it wasn't designed for year-round use, but does it actually freeze up? So we got into doing our scheduling conference with Judge Dayton. He's like, so the Supreme Court's telling me that I have to make a finding if water freezes in the winter.
So is there any public comment with the Rising Sun versus Granite County?
So did you hear what my recommendation is, and to go through the Supreme Court process, see how they rule, and then we can do more negotiation at that point if needed to potentially look at their idea and use supplementing Title III money, if that's something you want to look at.
Good discussion.
It didn't make your head hurt.
I see no reason why we can't move on to the resolution 2023-7. Appointing a representative member to the Board of Multi-County Abatement Region 4, second reading.
That was the one that Blaine's gonna be on.
Yeah, you want me to give some background on this one? So
Sure.
we had the opioid settlements, and so those funds were, part of those funds were going into a state trust. Part of those funds were gonna go locally, so we already have like
Couple grand, not a lot,
2,000 and change to
yeah.
use locally. The trust funds, are used through each area of the state. There's a region created. We're part of four. And each county will have a representative on that board. I wasn't here one day, you guys appointed me, which is fine. Each county will have their own voting representative on there. They'll meet, the abatement board will meet, regional one will meet like probably twice a year or quarterly to look at projects that people request to access those trust funds. They're looking at the regional board is looking at potentially having the county commissions vet their own projects in their county, agree to them, and then they agree to them and send them on to the regional board. So you guys will have a say in where those monies are going. Those 2,000 we already have, my advice is for that to be used by DUI task force, so we can bring in speakers into the schools and do different programs. So that's something I encourage you to look at, but
So that's sitting in the fund right now.
the county has that,
So.
but in
again,
the
you're
state,
suggesting budget for
yeah,
next fiscal year DUI task force.
if you would, I'll talk to the sheriff about that, but and then, public health attends those DUI task force meetings and have come up with ideas for speakers and so forth, so public health.
A lot of other prevention agencies serve.
Yeah,
Too.
the
work on
tobacco
some projects.
prevention folks and.
Yeah.
But there's a substantial amount in the state trust fund there
Yeah,
from
the big
those,
one.
it's not unlimited money, but there's be a lot of monies for projects for education and treatment type programs. Well,
That we can
If-
apply for, or
like public health or the county commission itself or the sheriff's office.
And you can partner with other counties and apply
Yeah.
for projects.
So like Anaconda Deer Lodge, Powell,
strengthen
Beaver
proposal.
Hedge, Madison, I think you're in it.
Yeah,
So yeah, you could team up with another county to do a project. How's it going?
good, how are you?
Good.
So I'll move to adopt resolution 2023-7. A Granite County resolution appointing a representative member to the Board of Multi-County Abatement Region 4.
I'll second it. Any public comment? Being none, all in favor,
Aye.
motion carried.
Thanks. Someone else wants to do it, we
Thank
can always amend the resolution.
You're gonna do great.
There are some other county attorneys that will be on.
Today
there.
was
It's
six.
had some will be county commissioners.
Last item on the agenda. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second it. Adjourned for June 6th, 2023.
Did someone talk to Jared about